Hi, everybody, and welcome back to In the Huddle. I look at my sheet and I see In the Huddle, number 23. Just unfathomable. I'm Vance Palm, Trevor Horn, Stan Green, the Dean of Local Sports is coming in. Greg Kurt in just a moment. Before we go too far, programming note. Our weekly midday in the huddles, we have made a transition into Tuesdays. We believe, it's not in cement yet, but we believe Tuesday afternoons work out pretty well for all the logistics and administrative people to make sure they're all dialed in. So keep that in mind. In the Huddle, most likely going to be on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. Once again, welcome, everybody. Stan, my notes to the top of this thing have one thing, show one. 22 shows ago, we started this deal, and in show one of our major topics was playoff brackets, playoff seedings. Remember that? You remember how we went back and on our very first show, and I remember looking in the camera saying, don't forget about it because we're going to come back and visit it, which we will be in quarter two. Quarter one, though, Trevor, we're loaded up. Got a lot going on. We're going to do a quick recap before we turn the engine and get it going super fast. What a fast 22 weeks that was, Stan.
It blows my mind how fast it went by. You know, and we like it to last forever. Right, but I guess all good things come to an end, and the regular season's ended last week, and now we're in 4, and with any luck, 6 weeks of playoffs for some of our schools.
Well, look at it this way. We went to 10 different high schools in 10 weeks on Fridays, which is absolutely phenomenal. Such a great thing that we did. You know, we did the first show here, and we brought in Robert Riley, and we brought in Michael Gutierrez here at the district office, and then you had the great idea, hey, let's start doing this. And we had that first show at BHS, and it was a hit. And it's just, I mean, the ball has just rolled so far. It's incredible. And now we're show 23, and it's kind of symbiotic if you think about it. 23, the playoffs, Michael Jordan.
Wow, that's a reach, but I'll go for it. I'll take it. How about this? Who else could say they do a live on-campus high school show that's featured mariachis and bagpipes, field goal competitions? It's been pretty crazy. It's been a lot of fun. Anything stand out to you on all? And by the way, I said 22 weeks, 22 shows. Anything stand out like right away that like, wow, I can't believe we're doing this?
Yeah, I mean, just the excitement and energy on every campus, right? You know, you got Christian Johnson, who went all in at Miramonte, and Ryan Guyvett, who made his admin team watch College Game Day to get ideas. Dewar bringing out milkshakes.
Ooh, those were the days.
Kicking a field goal and tearing a hamstring for Trevor. That was great.
You and I throwing our shoulder out at Miramonte. How about you?
Mariachis.
Oh, I mean, how about you? Anything like to stand out? I mean, you putting on the heads a la ESPN that's fantastic.
For me, it really goes back to the mariachis and really kind of Christian Johnson, like you said, kind of setting the tone of going, guys, I've been to 5 College Game Days. Let me show you what it looks like, and bringing out the fatheads and all that. And then every athletic director, every ASB director, every principal, they all just bought into this thing, and it was just great because it was like, I'm going to one-up them. And I love the fact that we walk in, we really don't know what we're going to see week in and week out. And that's been the greatest thing about it, is that it's not just the 3 of us and Alex getting excited about this. It's every campus getting pumped up, and I appreciate it.
Well, and you know what else, too? I ran into Justin Roberts and Chad Shelton on Sunday playing golf, and, you know, baseball coaches, right? And J-Rob, one of my all-time favorite athletic directors, who I swear needs to go into administration. And just out of the blue, Chad says, hey, how's the reception been on In the Huddle? I never would have even brought that up, but he's watching it. People are watching it. They're loving it. And it's going to be great to kind of roll into the winter. We're going to have to pivot a little bit, but it's going to be great to roll into the winter and kind of get this thing through the spring and just continue to do great things on behalf of the kids.
Stan, appreciate you with the vision, getting it going. Trevor, you're the glue in this whole thing that keeps us going, and Al's our director. So I the easiest gig of all. I say hello, and then I turn it over to everybody. On that note, let's back up to last week, bro. First quarter, let's go, Trevor.
So we had the 2 games on Thursday we talked about on Friday. We'll just kind of go over them a little bit. Those are not my notes.
Great. Cut. Take 2.
No, we're good. Golden Valley finishes off the regular season with a great win, 26-7 over Foothill. Both of those teams finish 4-6. I have those in the regular season. Both are in the playoffs. We'll get to those in the third quarter today. And then Liberty with a 49-0 win over Stockdale in a game that was kind of over just right as it began. Liberty had 7 touchdowns in their first 7 possessions, something I haven't seen before, and it was a running clock in the second quarter. I've been covering high school football for 15 years. I've never seen that before.
I went home that night and was watching the news, and they said running clock second quarter. But then last night I'm driving down White Lane and I see Stockdale out practicing. I mean, it's a surreal world we live in.
They're in the playoffs.
I coached a team. We had a running clock in the second quarter.
You were up or down?
Well, we were down. But I'll tell you what, that was the greatest group of kids I've ever been around. And I think the Stockdale kids, they're going to look back one day, and it wasn't that bad of a season. They did a good job rallying, and it's about the journey. It's not about the results.
Do you have yourself together? We're good. Can we move forward?
I thought you two were just having a good old time over there. I'm fine.
I mean, gosh, you're like the Office Depot over here.
I'm a professional. I can keep moving on.
Well, then let's go. What happened Friday night?
All right, so Kern Valley in the High Desert League finished the regular season in second place behind Bishop with a 20-14 win over Boron. Very good win. Winners of 4 of the last 5 after a slow start for the Bronx. East High finished off the regular season with a 42-12 win over Del Oro. Neither one of these teams advanced to the playoffs. And really, when you guys look at it, a great way for BB Carrasco to end his coaching tenure at East High with a win like that over Del Oro. And I wish BB the best of luck at Shafter now that he's taken on a position over there on campus. North High, another big win, 42-7. They finished tied for second with South. And really, if you think about it, that's a tiebreaker. So they finished second in the Mountain Division, Mountain League, with a 42-7 over West High. North moving on.
Would you ever thought they were going to be 5-5?
No, and you know what? I talked to Levy on Sunday, and he was like, "Can you believe it? I would have never thought that this would ever happen." Congratulations to those guys that they got a quarterback that was a backup running back and backup linebacker last year in Bradley Dockery, and now here he is leading them to a home game. We'll get more into that. We'll get in the weeds in the third quarter.
Great
Incredible.
job,
yep. Highland with a 48-14 win to finish off the regular season over Ridgeview. I feel bad for the Wolfpack finishing the season without a win on the field. Highland, another big game for Preston Mendez. 5 different Scots rushed for touchdowns in that game. Nick Gonzalez and Johnny Brucker both rushed and received for a touchdown in that one.
Quick question: how much of a roller coaster has Highland season been? It's been it's been like one of those old school roller coasters.
We're going to get into it when we start talking about the playoffs. But if Austin Hernandez is as healthy as he should be, they may get an upset. We'll talk about that a little bit because that's the one thing that they've been missing is him at running back all year, and they've kind of had to, plug and place a few guys, Nick Gonzalez being one of them at the running back position. So you get Austin Hernandez back on both sides of the field. It changes everything. Yeah. Tehachapi finished off the regular season with another league win in the Mountain Division, 24-21 win over South. South had a lead 21-14 at the half, and then Tehachapi kept them scoreless in the second half for the victory. So South went up there in the cold, and they battled. They battled hard, but, it just Tehachapi, they got a great kicker. And like we talked about all year, that's the one thing that was kind of the tall grass, and a good kicker can go a long way for a team like Tehachapi, and that's what happened.
Trevor, while we're doing this, everybody, we're doing last Friday night, but keep in mind, coming up here in the third quarter, we're going to go into this coming week and play, so it all seems together.
Sorry, I like it.
I
want to go back real quick. North High did not attempt a pass on that win over West. This is a nugget that I remember writing it down this morning. But they rushed for exactly 400 yards. 2 guys rushed for at least 200, one of them being Bradley Dockery, their quarterback.
Well, that's some Turkey Leotis football.
Yeah. Hey, how about this? God's Country finished off the Horizon League with I'm not even calling Arvin anymore. They're just God's Country when this guy's around. 38-23 win over Miramonte. Both of these teams moving on to the playoffs. Great win for Arvin and Miramonte. They're going to be in D6, and, I think that Christian Johnson kind of understands that D6 is a lot different than what he sees week in and week out in the Horizon League, and I think that's going to work out for him.
Yeah, and kudos to Coach Riley.
Yeah.
What a great year so far.
7 wins. And first league title since 2006. And if they win, they get a playoff win this week. It'll be first time, I think, since 2000 they've had 8 wins in a season.
I heard our buddy Greg Kerr asking his son, or he got a text on the show earlier about what's the Arvin game look like. Greg wasn't 1,000% sure what to say, but he answered correctly. They just won the league. It's a playoff game at home. It's Arvin. It's a win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
BHS victory. They finished second in the Valley, 38-21 over Independence.
Look at those drillers, man.
Brenton Brown and Bryson Abbott combined for 275 combined rushing yards in that game. They just ran all over the Falcons and bested a 106-yard rushing performance by Ja'Kai Irvin. BHS in 1AA. Independence in D3. We'll get into those. Shafter defeated Wasco in the 97th version of that rivalry,
Unreal.
35-14. And this was a game that was 7-7 at half, and Wasco scored on their first drive of the second quarter. It was 14-7. So Shafter went and scored on their final 28 points, and they did it every which way. You know, there was a muffed punt return that they were able to score on the very next play, and it was just opportunistic football in the second half for the Generals.
I messaged the athletic director to tell Perucci, if you don't get it together, just stay there. You can stay in Wasco. We don't want you back. So that was the halftime speech.
Great job, Coach.
Here the weather's better there.
Right.
Yep, and then the final game of the regular season, Frontier with a big win over Centennial, 28-14. Excuse me, that's not 28-21, 28-14. RJ Green with the pick six to seal the victory at the end. He also had 86 yards rushing and a touchdown. Brady Campbell threw for 177 yards and a touchdown in the win.
Brady Campbell looked great.
Yep.
I mean, you're the QB. You're the guy that knows all about the footwork and the setup, and he just had that one. He threw a couple of darts, and one of those long bombs that kind of iced it was in. I mean, the receiver never broke stride. He looks fantastic. RJ played great. It's a game of the week. That's why I'm kind of commenting a little bit on it. Centennial, we could lament about not having Jet Santiago, but it's real when you don't have your guy.
Yeah, I mean, that was really hard for them. I thought Centennial fought and played hard. I mean, you know, the score doesn't show it, but Centennial was driving to tie the game with about 3 minutes to go. And I just have this vivid memory of Jason Grant fighting for an extra yard, and with the ball, I think it was in his left hand, and he kind of goes like this as he's going down.
A little Tiki Barber action.
Yeah, he's fighting for that extra yard. I mean, that kid, he put in some work this year.
Great game. You watched it on the network. What do you think about that game?
Just two teams that were fighting, and the way I look at Frontier is what troubles in non-league. You know, what tough schedule, what 1,600 yards, 1,600 miles you traveled during that brutal non-league. And Bandy said it best. He goes, now we get a home game in the playoffs because we only had 4 regular season home games, so now we get our 5th.
Yeah, that was a great game. They look good. It's going to be interesting. They have a 6 seed coming in. That's going to be interesting. Hey,
Hitting their groove.
Any last things before I close up first quarter?
I think everything kind of played out in the regular season as we thought. Everybody who is the top of Kern County kind of played out the way that we thought it was going to. We figured that Liberty was probably going to be the top team. We figured Frontier was probably going to be one of the top teams, and it turned out. And I think the Drillers played as well as they could have. I mean, they're a field goal away from being a perfect season right now. And then Shafter. It's phenomenal what Gerald Perucci and his coaching staff were able to do, and and I understand that Marion Sloan is just a junior, and he's a Division I football athlete, but to take him out of the wide receiver position and put him at quarterback and have him to rush for 1,000 yards in 6 games and play a position that he doesn't like and it isn't his natural position, and for them to go 5-1 in those games and only lose by a touchdown to St. Joe's in that time period, and waiting for Ezekiel Osborne's non-throwing collarbone to heal is just phenomenal. I mean, it really is.
That's a wrap on the regular season. Hard to believe. It seems like it was yesterday. We were just outside here in the sweltering heat. Regular season football over, and we close it off in first quarter. When we come back in the second quarter, we've got a lot going on. Playoffs, volleyball, tennis, golf, water polo, all that happening in the second quarter. We're going to let the dean of local sports in here, maybe. We'll talk about it. We can see if we're going to let Greg in. Third quarter, all about predictions for this coming weekend. So hope you're enjoying the Huddle. We'll be right back with Greg Kerr in the studio with us.
Valley Strong's youth accounts help kids practice earning and spending in the real world.
So, my rate for dishes is going up with inflation.
Oh, is it?
Blame the economy!
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives. Valley Strong's youth accounts teach kids how to save and earn interest on their hard-earned money.
Hey! You should be earning interest on your savings. Make the money work for you.
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives.
Well, Stan and Trevor voted yes to let Greg in.
What did you vote? Because you voted.
I voted.
Only
Yes.
need a majority. Only
I
need a
voted
majority.
100% yes. This man got back probably 3 o'clock in the morning from
4
covering
o'clock.
4 o'clock from covering the Roadrunner
went up to
men's
Berkeley?
basketball team
I
up at
did.
Berkeley.
Not a boy.
and I was listening to your show a little earlier, Greg, on the way over here, as I always do. We just wrapped up regular season high school football in the first quarter, but before we go into second quarter, your thoughts as you chew on your long drive lozenge.
I do, because my voice is getting shot here.
Regular season thoughts, football.
Tashme's 29-5 the last 3 years, and they can't get a home game.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that.
How about that? Tashme's a 12 seed. Golden West is a 2 seed. They lost to them in overtime. That's 10 spots. Their only losses were to Golden West and BCHS, correct?
Yeah, I didn't see them.
I know. I'm not looking at you.
Yeah, those are your top 2 seeds in D2.
But that's
Yeah.
that's a 10 seeding
I
difference.
heard you and Pag talking about it yesterday. Even.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but it's also not an easy job, whether it's computers or people. So I get that as well.
What do you think they should have got?
Tashme?
Yeah.
Like a 7 and get a home game?
Yeah.
I know what the biggest
There's
issue
some
was.
discussion about that right now at the Board of Managers about, if you win your league and if you're going to move up, you should move up to the top 8 and at
Yes.
least be able
Yes.
to host.
You
And
should.
if you
Yes.
can't go that far, then you shouldn't move up.
Absolutely.
Because,
you should.
Because the one thing that kept them down was their strength of schedule compared to those other 2 programs. They had a much higher strength of schedule. And when you're using Cal Preps, that's exactly what it is. But I agree. If you're a league champ and you're moving up, yeah, you got to get a home game.
We keep rewarding teams who don't have a good season by dropping them down and giving them home games in the next level.
Yeah.
And we keep punishing teams that have a really good season and move up and they don't get home games.
Yeah,
So
it
they
gets
have,
really-
if you're going to move up, like Shafter did, and they obviously deserve where they are, but you need to have a home game. And look, the NFL has an 8-8 division winner that gets a home game when a 13 and 4 wild card team does not.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. So if you don't you think a league is weaker than one or another, league champs are still league champs, and everything is cyclical. Some leagues get strong, and some teams are weak, but it'll change from year to year.
I think our process has gotten a lot better. I feel like it's probably the best model in the state, but that's one tweak that we need to get to is that theory right there.
Yeah,
You
and I don't
move
think
up.
there's, like you said, that I don't think there's much in the way of problems. I didn't look at anything that
Yeah.
was egregious and go, you got to be kidding me. But at the same time, I look at the body of work of some schools and I go, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're right.
I think it's great. We're in first quarter and a half because Greg's just getting with us. Because Greg, we talked about this the very first show, the very, very first show that we had, the very first huddle. In our very first opening, we talked specifically about bracketology, playoff scenarios, and I even reminded the audience, we're going to come back to it. We're going to visit it. So thanks for that. A couple of quick hitters for you. Your thoughts on the Drillers?
Boy, what a difference one seed makes, right? If you go up to 8, you're playing
Clovis East.
Clovis East, and you're not number 8, you're number 1, and you're playing San Joaquin Memorial. That's a huge difference right there, and that was by strength of schedule, I think, in terms of Tulare Union's win, and just punch in the numbers, and suddenly they move down a slot.
Yep.
And
Beating
good for
Tulare
them.
Western meant more than beating Independence on Friday night.
Exactly.
Another quick hitter. It's self-serving, so you think, but great story, the Arvin Bears.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, first, those kids were born the last time. That was the year they were born, I think, most of them, the last time they won an outright league championship. So at least the seniors were.
Yeah.
So that's a great story there. And Santa Ynez is a 3-17 that they're going to play. And I think all 3 teams were against, Santa Maria and
They're
Pioneer Valley and one other team. I think Arvin
they're like a combined 4-36 this
should
year.
roll into that round 2.
Couple
But
of
good for Robert Riley and what they've done this year.
A couple more quick hitters. How does Liberty fare this weekend up north?
Well, it won't be 41-14. I think they're a much improved product. I hear Central is as well. But I think, are they underdogs? Yes. But I think if they play a clean game, don't let the momentum get to you or the explosion plays, they could pull off a win. But it's going to be tougher sledding. I actually give Centennial a better chance, even without Jet Santiago. I think they can knock off Buchanan.
We talked about them in the first part.
Yeah.
Last question before we get into second quarter here. Frontier looked pretty good the other night. They put it together. They had all kind of facets of their game kind of going. Your thoughts on where they may, and I'm going kind of chalk in this second segment with you on the upper tier teams. Your thoughts on Frontier?
Well, I'll tell you, it's one of the reasons I like Centennial possibly against Buchanan, because that 27-13 game was a one-possession game till the final minute on a pick six by R.J. Green. And even then, they had the ball and they could have taken the lead twice. And they fumbled one, which R.J. Green also recovered. And then they had the pick six. So Centennial really impressed me there. I still think Frontier has more to give, to be honest with you. I don't think that was their best game of the year by any stretch. And we saw Bullard earlier this year in 10 when they played BHS early in the season. Played them tough for a half, and then the wheels fell off, and BHS took it to them. So I see Frontier winning that game, but at the same time, I think Chris Bandy wants a little more out of what the potential of that team.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, Trevor, second quarter, and we're we're a third of into the second quarter. So talk about getting the Ferrari speed going.
Yep.
Here we go, playoffs.
So we're going to start off with girls golf first, Al. So we're going to get into girls golf and water polo before we get into tennis. We don't need graphics just yet. Girls golf season ended yesterday with the Central Section Division I championships. The 3 Kern County teams that went in and finished 7th, 8th, and 9th out of the 9 teams that were in the competition. Our top local was Giselle Valencia out of Stockdale. She finished with an 87 for 24th overall. Those that also finished under 100 shooting: Aubriana Garcia from Frontier, Kaylin Killian from Frontier, Mallory Blunt from Frontier, and Tazi Keenan from Frontier. So good job for the Titans to get 4 of the top 5 out of that. But congratulations, Giselle Valencia, being the top Kern High golfer at the championships up in Fresno. And congratulations to Astrid Talley out of Chowchilla, now a 2-time section champ. Only one to shoot under par yesterday, a 5 under 67. Impressive.
What?
Yeah.
5 under.
Yeah. At a very tough course.
makes me sad.
Nobody else shot under par. Nobody else. Water polo playoffs begin tonight. We've got a slew in D3 on the boys and girls side. On the boys side in D3, number 14 Liberty, it's at Cabrillo. That game is at 3:30 today. Number 11 at Exeter, here in town at Stockdale at the district pool at 6 p.m. And number 10 Yosemite is at number 7 Frontier. That one's at 5 o'clock. On the girls side in Division 3, Centennial's on the road at Sierra up in Toll House at 4:30. Number 11, El Diamante is here in town against number 6, Frontier. That one's at 6 p.m., so I'm guessing one's going to be at the North Pool, one's going to be at the South Pool, I would assume, right, Stan?
I think there's only one here tonight.
No, there's 3 tonight.
In town.
I've got. Are they playing them on a different night? Because on Max Preps, I had them all tonight, and I had different times for 2 of them. So maybe they're playing 2 at the same time at 6 o'clock. I don't know. I'm asking you.
We're splitting. It's tomorrow night. The boys are at they're back to back in the one pool.
Okay, so
Tonight,
they are.
the
Okay,
girls.
so those are tomorrow night.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought he
They
said-
still showed
I
up
thought he said
division.
North Pole
Still
and
showed up.
South
I'm over
Pole.
here daydreaming and can't call me out when I'm daydreaming.
So did I.
Yeah, no.
And
So
then-
the girls are tonight.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock at the Kern Aquatics Complex.
Okay.
Tomorrow night the boys
And that's the Frontier game.
and
Yep.
there's one game and then the next game's after.
Okay, so you're just using the one pool. You're not
Yes.
splitting them up like you did with League. Okay.
Correct.
Number 10, Liberty on the girls' side. Tonight at number 7, Santa Ynez. I just want to make sure I had that right tonight. Right. That's at 4 p.m. today. And then finally, number 15, Independence is at number 2, Dinuba at 6 p.m. tonight.
That's water polo.
That's water polo. That starts tonight. And that means the championships are next week.
Wow.
Okay, and then we'll move on. Now we're going to start with girls tennis, the Liberty Arroyo Grande match, the 1-4 matchup. Already started at 1 o'clock. I stopped by there, talked to Coach Campoy for a little bit, saw the girls before I got out here. So that's going on. I'm going to head right back out there for the singles action after we're done. And then Stockdale is at Slow. That one begins at 3:30 today out at Slow because they have lights. In Division 3 in girls tennis, Frontier still in action. They're the 4 seed at Lompoc. That one started at 2 o'clock today, so about 25 minutes ago. And then East looking to continue this incredible undefeated season, 28-0, hosting number 3 Kerman. Incredible job by those girls and Coach Marty Martinez, just incredible. And his biggest cheerleader out there right now, you know who it is? It's Bobby Sharp.
Oh,
Bobby's
good
out there
Bobby
every day.
Sharp.
So that one started at 1:30, and then in Division 4, Shafter is on the road at 3 o'clock today at Torres High up in Madera in the 2-3 matchup. So we could have some action on.
But Chavez is number 1, huh?
Yeah, Chavez number 1. Yep. So that is your girls tennis semifinals, with the championships being on Thursday. This is team competition. And then in volleyball, We have nobody in Division 1, 2, or 3 in the district. But in Division 4 at home tonight, a match I will be at, number 2, Shafter, hosting number 3, Emmanuel, at 6 o'clock. So the General's looking for a title appearance in the Central Section Championship. And if they do make it, a very, very tough Fresno Christian team, probably staring them right in the face in that one, and that one will be on the road. In Division 5, we will most likely have 2 Kern County teams playing in this one. Kern Valley, the 1 seed, hosting Coalinga tonight, and then Highland Road Warriors this year, the 11 seed, playing up at Cal City, the 2 seed tonight in volleyball. And there is your recap of everything non-football playoffs, and it is an action-packed day here.
Kalinga swept Kennedy. They're not bad. I watched part of that when I went to 4 matches. What was the last day they played?
Thursday?
Yeah. So I went to the Delano, parts of Delano, Kennedy, Shafter, and Wasco. I've seen Shafter about 3 times now. They're really good. I like Shafter's program.
Did you do this? You went...
Well, one started at 5 o'clock, so I went there first, and then I followed the rest because I knew if Mammoth is playing your team, you know the start time is going to be changed.
Always early.
So I went to that one first, and but I really like Shafter. They got a really good team.
Yeah, because Ridgew's game at Mammoth in the first round is at 5 o'clock out there.
Greg, I'm looking for you covering the Kern Valley Cal City Championship.
Yeah. Well, there's a good chance I might.
I know that. I say it in jest. You say it for real.
Yeah.
Solid job. Thank you, Trevor. When we come back, third quarter, football slide for the playoffs. We said we'd do it the first show ever for the Huddle, and now we're back going over it with all that's happened in this amalgamation of playoff scenarios. Back right after this in the third quarter.
Valley Strong's youth accounts help kids practice earning and spending in the real world.
So, my rate for dishes is going up with inflation.
Oh, is it?
Blame the economy.
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives. Valley Strong's youth accounts teach kids how to save and earn interest on their hard-earned money.
Hey! You should be earning interest on your savings. Make the money work for you.
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter. We're turning.
That's good.
We're turning third and fourth into one big soccer half of 45-minute, one of those 45-minute halves. We're going to do 2, but we're going to break it down. We have all this in front of us. There's really no reason to go into a third and fourth quarter. This is our finale. We'll close it out with this, but boy, there is a lot going on. Trevor, we've got all the slides. You and Al have done a great job of prepping for it. Just kind of keep us in line with what we're looking at. And then Stan and Greg, let's just chime in, yeah?
Yeah.
So what we're looking at is every division in football and the 16-team brackets from 2 through 6, and then the 18 brackets and the 1 Division 1s. And that's what we're going to be looking at here. And then as we go through, we'll just break down and predict each game there is for Kern High School District.
All right, let's go.
All right, so Division 6, we've got number 10, Foothill.
Or we're working backwards.
We're working backwards?
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's why I told you. You got to tell
I
us.
know, we
Guys
got
like
flip
us.
pages.
This slide is
Guys like
correct
us?
order is 1AA.
All right, well, if you guys want to do that.
No, we're
let's
good.
go.
We're good.
1AA.
Oh, it is. You're right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
on me. My bad, guys.
Okay. It's the numbering.
Look,
I'm.
Hold
we're
on,
good.
I got to go do CPR on Al right
is my
now.
mic
Hold on.
working?
And
One double.
in 1AA, number 6 Liberty at number 3 Central. This is the fourth time these two have met in the regular season and the playoffs in the same season since 2012. Second year in a row, Liberty won the regular season, then lost in the semifinals in Division 1 to the Grizzlies last year. The Grizzlies, like Greg talked about earlier, bested Liberty 41-14 back on September 20th, but alluded to it. It's Rob Smith, I think, is the biggest difference, is solidifying QB1, finding a cohesion on the offense, trusting that really stout O-line and that very deep defense that the Patriots have. And what you have is, you have a 3-loss team going into 1 AA into the top 8 division, but those 3 losses, Santa Margarita, which is in Division 1 in the southern section, it's Central, and then I consider it kind of a like
Fluky lost.
fluky loss to Buchanan at home. And those are 3 weeks in a row. And now you have a team that's won 6 games in a row and is rolling right now, or 5 games in a row, and they're rolling right now.
They got to possess the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can't allow explosion plays that got away from them in that first meeting. And they've just got to play a clean game and, again, just not let the athletes on the other side,
Well, they got the running backs, too, to be able to do that.
They do. They do. They
Dennis
absolutely
Perry
do.
really has come on as just a sophomore.
Perry, Witten, and obviously Murphy. I mean, they're that's just a good, group of guys back there. So
Trevor, your pick is Liberty 35-31.
It is. I think that, like Greg said, if they can control the ball, they can limit turnovers, they win the turnover battle, and then limit the big explosive plays that Central is used to, which I think they can do Friday night. I think Liberty can win this upset. However, congratulations, you beat Central. You got Clovis North the next week. And if you're able to get through Clovis North, hey, you got the number 12 team in the state of California and Clovis East after that. This is a very,
play the games.
this is a very, very,
this
quick shout out to my grandson, Riker Essman, who had an interception.
That was a
last
cool
week for
interception
Liberty.
right there, right on the sideline.
like he has some kind of leeway to do stuff like
That's
that
great.
on our very buttoned up
Throw it
tight
out there.
show here.
How about this? He has 2 interceptions this year, right?
Yes, he does.
And I've seen them both.
There you go.
Well, you
He
better
did the
be,
other one.
you better be at the game against Central.
I'm not going to be. I'm sorry.
Your pick.
You know what? I think Liberty's got it going finally. I think they were going. They had some sputters. I feel like Liberty, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 21-17, 17-14. It's going to be low.
Gregory?
Yeah, I'm in between the two. I think it's going to be like around 24-21, something like that. And again, I'm leaning Liberty, and I'm going more with the fact that because the odds are against them. They're on the road. Yeah. They got beat by this team before. But I just like the way they're trending, and they have not been beaten themselves. And that's what happened earlier in the year, whether, when they played Santa Margarita. Even Richie Bowley even said, we played 4 hard quarters against that team. The score may have looked ugly, but we played hard. And so I like Liberty.
I'm going Liberty 14-10. I think they're on a really nice trend, and I think that
14-10.
14-10. And I think, well, look, the weather's beautiful. I mean, I look at the weather a lot. I'm up for whatever reason. I've been to some of those Central games, and when it was Gola and the Driller, it was like 24 below. It was freezing. This is like nice weather. It's going to be like 60 degrees at the last part of the game. I'm going Liberty 14-10.
And a little caveat for everybody that's watching that understands these 2 8-team brackets in Division One both start this week and then end on the 22nd, which gives the 2 champions of those 2 divisions not a bye week after the regular season, a bye week before the state regional playoffs, which I think is actually really cool. Is that here we put you in the top 2 divisions, but we're going to give you a little gift and allowing you to rest before the state playoffs because they both advance.
All right, really, that's our only interest in that slide, right?
It is.
Okay.
Can I just ask real quick why the weather makes for a 14-10 game? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Because
by
the third quarter they will have really been getting after it without having to hold up and not hit hard because it's too cold. They're going to they're going to be a little more expended by the late third. Like if it's freezing cold, guys have some in the tank by the fourth quarter because they've still got a little bit left. They haven't been hitting as hard, but by the fourth quarter, I'm telling you, this is going to be like a late summer, early fall weather. It's going to be nice.
Okay. 1 AA, we've got.
I have no idea.
Sorry, 1A. Gosh, I've got to get that under control. So 1A, this is the 9 through 16 in the Central section. We've got 1A. 3 local teams in this division. We'll start off first for the Thursday night game, and that is number 7 Centennial at number 2 Buchanan. This is the injury bug has really hit the Golden Hawks hard, and it's hit them hard again this week, and they're probably going to be out without a starter. Starrett still doesn't know if this young man's going to play or not, so I don't want to say who it is, but it could be another major injury for them. This is such a talented team, and like we said, they had chances to beat Frontier and be at home this week, but instead they're on the road. This is a really winnable game, but just because of the injuries to Centennial, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this one off. I got Buchanan winning this one close, 28-21.
Stan?
Yeah, I just have a question real quick. But go ahead, Stan. Go.
Oh no, I'm still baffled that
I'm
he
just
would
wondering-
pick against Centennial.
Yeah. How many Thursday games do we have this week? Is it field, conflict or just?
It's
That
just
aff-
that
that
one
affect
because
us,
Clovis North has to have that stadium for
'Cause
Friday
up in
night.
Porterville, are they using Porterville College for one of the games?
I have a hard
there?
enough time keeping track of my
I know,
schools.
I know.
I think Centennial's the only current high one that's on a
It
Thursday.
was like Foothills playing at Granite Hills, but the same night
At home.
somebody else, not Porterville, they have a bye. Somebody else I think plays that night. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I got a new idea for a show next week. Pepper Stan live.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I can handle
Pepper
it.
Stan live with questions. Your pick on this, homeboy.
You know what? I'm going to take. I'm concerned about the injury, but we don't give out injury reports, Trevor.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
why I'm not
I know.
doing it.
So yeah, I think Centennial. The game. I mean, they had a chance to beat Frontier, legitimate
They did.
chance,
They
and
did.
the ball didn't bounce their way. I feel like they're playing well enough to win. So I'm going to go with Centennial.
I am too. I like Centennial in this one. I don't know if it's going to be a real high-scoring game. I think it might be like a 21-17 type game. But this is a Buchanan team that had their hands full with Kennedy earlier in the season. It was a high-scoring game, but still had their hands full. And again, probably their most impressive win was beating Liberty 14-10. And I don't know that was more about Liberty than it was about them at that particular time.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
how
like
about
Centennial.
this? Buchanan's only league win in the track was a 6-5 victory over Clovis West.
Yeah, well, I mean, their last 3 games, they ran the gauntlet, those 3 games, but that was like playing the Packers, the Lions, and somebody else, That was a tough 3-game stretch. I'll give them a break there.
Thus, that reason my pick is going to be Centennial, and it's more about just not 1,000% proved. I haven't been proven that Buchanan is all that they say it is. I'm going Centennial.
The winner of that game will play the winner of this game, and that's number 6 Bullard at number 3 Frontier. And Frontier, took their licks in the non-league, playing one of the toughest first 5 weeks of anybody in the section, and it really has paid off. You talk about putting yourself out there to slow the game down for your players, and that's really what's happened to the Titans. Everything, and the injury bug has kind of gone away from them. Brady Campbell was out for a spell. Carson Campbell was out for a spell. Kobe Watson was out for a spell. R.J. Green and Logan Slayton were both out for a game. It was one after another. And obviously Brady Durkin's been out all year for them. But everybody's healthy. They're ready to go. And they're at home. And like Greg said, we've seen Bullard in town. And, that was a team that lost their mojo there in the second half. And I've got Frontier winning this one by 2 touchdowns, 35-21.
Stan?
I was with Bandy on Saturday, and he's just got a different feel about him now than he did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I feel like they're hitting their groove, so I'm going to go with Frontier.
Gregory?
I see a Frontier Centennial rematch is what I see.
That'd be great.
There you go.
Yeah, being up there watching that game the other night, true Centennial had some opportunities, but at the end of the night, boy, you could see just a difference in the level of depth there. And to your point you made earlier in yours, and I'm sure you probably agree, I don't think Bandy's seen this team at 100% yet, execution-wise. Yes, they've had some injuries in this, but I mean they're peaking at the quote-unquote peaking at the right time. I'm starting to really become impressed with Brady Campbell. Didn't get to see a lot of him earlier this year, but boy, a couple of those, he went out on the flats and rolled to his right and just threw a dart, man, on that one touchdown. And then that one that he threw in stride was starting to look like that's
The song by Ginyu, in the back
Ginyu
corner.
Ginyu was the hard dart on the rollout.
You're right.
But then the long bomb he hit right in stride. Showed me what you and I were talking about
That was the
pregame.
Malcolm Watkins.
That just you can't win in this deal without just a really solid quarterback. So Frontier for me.
And then we can't look past their opportunistic defense. Does another defense have as many defensive touchdowns as Frontier does, especially in the last 5 weeks? I mean, they're picking everything off. They're grabbing it. They're going. They're doing whatever they need to do.
Wow.
Yep.
I want Centennial to beat Buchanan.
God, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be great?
And then you look, and then our final game in 1A is number 8 San Joaquin Memorial, 6-4 this season at number 1 BHS, 9-1. Drillers really got a gift Friday night, like we talked about. It was the strength of schedule really came into play for them, and they went from what looked to be the 8th seed in 1AA, having to go to Clovis East, to possibly being at home for 3 weeks in a row in the section playoffs and be able to play this Friday at Griffith Field against the Panthers. And really, you look at this, I mean, that's the primo spot that you want to be in, is to be the number 1 in the 1AA. The Panthers, they've kind of stumbled in the playoffs, and the Drillers you know, they've kind of put that BCHS loss to bed. I got the Drillers winning this one big, 35-14.
Wow. Stan?
A lot of tears on Saturday when people saw the Drillers got down to this division.
Yep.
And the Drillers are on a roll.
Yeah, they are.
And then on top of that, as the 1 seed, I remember being there in the late 90s with Coach Hartnett and Mark Hudson, and they used to tell stories about, you know, hey, even when we're losing here, we're still in it. You watch, there'll be a fumble, it'll bounce up into one of our kids' hands, and they'll run it back for a touchdown. And that's the Driller luck, and they're going to roll.
Well, and this works right into the mindset and that kind of cool, calm demeanor of Rashawn Sheehy, where I texted him Saturday morning when I saw it. I go, hey, man, you might be the 1 seed in 1A this afternoon. And he goes, hey, man, we'll just let it all play out and see what happens. Yeah. But that's just the way he is. And, you know, he's like, hey, man, I never even looked at the rankings all year long. I just wanted to go out and play some football.
Gregory?
I'm not going to disagree with anything I heard. I think VHS is going to be just fine going into round 2. They've just got as many weapons as they have offensively, and I think Cavazos does a really nice job running that offense. And then, of course, Bryson Abbott's obvious, and then Brenton Brown is a beast. But I just love their defense. Yeah, I love the way even when they get scored upon. Of course, we know they started the season with 3 shutouts. They've had 4 this year. I think your mom's calling.
You need to get that? Let me take over for you.
Normally I would answer, but Darlene Palm's got to wait.
You should answer.
Anyway,
don't be the mayor.
My point being is that I think VHS will be just fine.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. Talk to you in a minute.
There you go.
Yeah, BHS all the way. Yep. I don't love me some Centennial, love me some Frontier, but boy, the Drillers, they improve every week. Coach Sheehy works on something every week to get better. They don't ever rest. They don't ever go back on anything. That mentality that he has, Drillers, like you say, tears and nightmares.
I feel like we should at least check the message. Maybe she's telling you better not pick against Arvin in a few slides.
That would never happen.
Probably telling me I can't get a hold of your brother-in-law, Paul Dameron. Come fix my cell phone.
I have a question.
That's pretty much, if you want transparency, it's more along those lines.
I have a question for you. If Arvin was playing Kansas City Chiefs, would you still pick Arvin?
No.
You lie.
I mean, you know, look.
But it would be a 1 possession.
Yeah, it would be a close game. Definitely a close game.
I would tell Coach Riley to go for 2 or go for the win.
No, that's kidding. Come on.
Don't get us started on an NFL show.
All right.
Okay, come on, T. Let's go.
Yes,
I got to call my mom. I got to call my mother.
Mother.
What's your deal? Let's go.
Well, I got to go cover a tennis match.
Oh, well, then hurry up.
Division 2, one Kern High School District team in this bracket. That's number 11 Highland at number 6 San Luis Obispo. Like I said earlier, the hope is for Austin Hernandez to return to action after suffering the ankle injury September 20th against Porterville, then re-aggravating it against BCHS. This is a very tough road game for the Scots against the Tigers, who have won 7 consecutive and have outscored their opponents over the past 5 games, 125-16. Tough road game for the Scots. I'd like to be able to pick them. I just don't see it happen. I've got Slow winning this one, 35-21.
Wow. Stan?
I think Mike's got him rolling. I think Mike's going to handle it. I got Highland.
Okay, Gregory?
I'm going Slow. They got a really good quarterback, and I think that's going to be enough. And as Trevor mentioned, the role that they've been on, and they're at home. It's really a rich tradition of football at SLO, too. I remember going to a game against Garces years ago. I got a great story to tell you off the air about that. But anyway, I'm going to go Slow on that one.
I'm going with the Highland Scotsman. It's been a roller coaster season. Why not take another wild ride?
I do love me some Jonathan Brucker, though.
Dude,
it's fun to watch, man.
Well, just Coach Gutierrez sometimes can just pull a rabbit out. So we'll see. Yep. Next up, T.
Division 3, we've got 2 teams in this one. Number 11, Stockdale. Got into the playoffs by the hair of their chinny chin chin with a 3-7 record. At number 6, Kennedy, Mario Mian. I know he was kind of miffed that they were the 6th seed. However, I think this all kind of worked out. What's going on?
We have Tehachapi in this.
We're Kern High School District.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I keep doing that.
You can pick Tehachapi.
Well, it's just local.
It's okay.
So,
I know.
Go ahead.
I know. It took me a month to get out of that mindset as well.
Not us.
Not us, man. Kern High, baby.
I got it. It's all right.
We're homers.
Okay. So the reason I bring up this Kennedy, hey, you got to call your mom, and I got to get to a tennis match. You done?
I'm going to bill you by the word.
I'll take a piece of that.
So Kennedy moving down to the 6th seed is a product of what I think the Central Section doing the right thing and make a Division II and Division III just 12 teams and giving the top 4 seeds buys. Because what you had was Madera, Rigetti, and Garza, who were all D3 bases, if you went just by Cal Preps, being the bottom 3 seeds, 3 of the bottom 4 seeds in Division II. Independence being the bottom seed in Division II. They did the right thing. They didn't push them up, and they kept them home, and now all 4 of those teams get to be at home in Division III. So I think they did the right thing. So Stockdale, 11 seed at Kennedy. This is 2 teams moving in totally separate directions. You know, Coach Dials has had a tough run, but he's done the best that he can for the Mustangs. But I've got Kennedy win this one, 42-14.
Dan?
I can't pick against Kern High School District School. I think Coach Dial's done a really good job this year, and so I'll go Stockdale.
Okay.
Yes, but Kennedy is.
Yeah,
They're healthy.
Got it.
And then Breve's back, only adding to like the 5,000 running backs they already have. I think Kennedy is going to win this one.
Trevor?
Independence, another one that thought they were going to go bottom D2. Even Paul Gola said that all Saturday morning he was scouting BCHS again, and here he is at home in Division III, the 7th seed against Napomo, a team that's 5-4-1. Key number 1 here is they have a common opponent, and that's Pioneer Valley, a 1-win Pioneer Valley team. And the Falcons went out at Santa Maria week 1 and beat them by 3 touchdowns. Napomo actually tied Pioneer Valley 14-14. Key number 2, Ricky Johnson's back.
Okay.
And that's going to be a key for him at running back, outside linebacker. He is the captain of the defense. He's back. He's healthy. He's ready to go. Independence 35-14.
Dan?
Independence, Ricky Johnson back. I think the goal is to have him ready.
Yep.
Pag Meter yesterday's high on Napomo. On your show, he's high on Napomo. He thinks that they're a little more dangerous than people might realize. Greg, your thoughts on this game, though?
No, I definitely like Independence, even though they had not been playing good football, and they've also played tougher opponents. They've not trended in the right direction.
Right.
But when you get Johnson back, and also when you look at the scores and the strength of schedule, I do like
It's just
Independence
not there.
winning this one.
You tied a team that won 1 game this year.
Okay.
Sorry. Not going to happen.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Next up, T-Horn.
All right, Division 4. Shafter is the 1 seed, and they get a bye. They're the only one with a bye in this division. So we've got 2 teams in the district that are going to be playing Friday night, and that is number 10 South. Finished out 7-3. Finished the regular season with 2 losses to North and Tehachapi. They're at number 7 Dos Palace. This is a long drive in the Valley, probably the longest drive anybody has to take in the Valley portion of the Central Section. 2.5, 3-hour drive for the Spartans. To mention, the Broncos' losses have come to teams that are combined 36-4. Those 4 losses to some of the top teams, including Shafter in this one. Tough first-round game for the Spartans. I just don't know if they have enough to get by this and the travel and possibly the fog in Dos Palos. You never know. So I've got the Broncos winning this one 28-21.
Stan Green.
Sounds like a lot of excuses to me. Fog, travel. I'm going with South High.
As you should.
I'd go with them even if it was 2 Kern High schools. South High.
I'll pick after Greg, but your thoughts, big man?
I think South has the weapons to pull off the upset. It's going to be tough. Dos Palos played Shafter to a 1-possession game. If you look down at the bottom of the bracket, Exeter opened the season against Shafter, 1-possession game.
Mm-hmm.
Those top 3 teams are really good. But I think in this case with Dos Palos, I just think, I think the home field thing might be too much for South to overcome. I'm not saying that's the reason they would lose, but I would go Dos Palos probably like in a 30-20 game.
I'm all over South on this game. They just had a rough one up against Tehachapi. I think that the season that they've been season they've been having, I think that really got under their skin a little bit, and I think they want to quiet everybody and prove to themselves that they're as good as we've all been saying this year. That's a great game. Dos Palos, I do that run all the time. 2.5, 3 hours. There's 2 rest stops on the way. Nothing. I'm going South High.
Hey, their 3 losses. South's 3 losses are by a combined 18 points.
Yeah.
15 points. 15 points.
Next week's show will just be you and I.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. I mean, well, Greg's still a good guy.
I pick these here, not here. If it was here, I'd pick Kern High school every time.
Carry on.
Okay, keep going.
The other D4 game is North High hosting
9-8.
in the 8-9 matchup against Templeton. These 2 have actually 2 common opponents in Atascadero and West. North won both of those games. Stars beating Atascadero 28-21. Templeton losing to the Greyhounds 10-7. Both of them blew out West. Stars on a 3-game win streak and ahead of steam right now. 28-21 Stars. Can I be back on the show now?
Stan?
One of the newest coaches in the high school district. Levinson
Yep.
against one of the oldest coaches in the section, Don Crow,
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
at Templeton. I can tell you what, Don Crow will have his team ready for everything, but I'm still not picking against the Stars.
Going North High. I know you got some Crow stuff, Greg.
Yeah, but it just brings back memories.
Yep.
Bradley Dockery, 7 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. I like what he's doing, and I think North is going to win this one.
Did you see the stats on them? Didn't even attempt a pass. Ran for 400 yards.
That's the whole idea.
Yep.
You can't stop it. Why? You know?
If there's a vibe, if there's some vibes this week at home, I'll tell you what. Between the Arvin High vibe that's going to be out there, that vibe's always. They've got like some of the best food in the whole deal. That's going to be a really exciting vibe. But North High School, that place is going to be rocking
Yes,
and rolling. Their basketball gym just feeds right out to their football field. North High in that one. All right, T-Horn.
All right, D5, just one local team in this one, and that is God's Country. And they are hosting number 9 Santa Ynez. Greg talked about this earlier. We'll just get into the weeds a little bit more. Arvin's on a 5-game win streak. The Pirates have wins coming over 3 teams with losing records. Arvin's at home. Good recipe for success, and they're not relying on the pass game. They've rushed for 200. They're averaging 200 yards a game over the last 4 weeks. Arvin, 35-21.
Dan.
Arvin.
On the way over here, I was listening to your show. You and the man behind the glass, Kyle, and you got a text in from somebody. What do you think about the Arvin matchup? I agree with what you were saying there, but give us your thoughts on in the huddle.
Well, I think despite your Arvin heritage, I think Arvin will win.
Despite of me?
They'll overcome you.
He's off the show.
Just you and I. You be down there,
No,
I'll be down here.
I do like the fact that as Trevor mentioned, they run the ball really well, but they have that balance with Rosales throwing the ball. I call them the Fighting Xaviers. They have like 3 Xaviers, and they all score touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I just like what Arvin does. They're really good. So I think they'll take care of Santa Ynez. And, if you want a true home field advantage, it's that Bishop is the 1 seed. Somebody's got to travel 5 hours to play them.
Sooner or later.
Each and every week, you got to go to Bishop.
Something's got to get up there. Arvin Bears for me, Trevor.
Yeah.
Next up.
What I found incredible about Arvin was I think Andrew Rosales had 4 completions in that game for an incredible 147 yards. 4 completions.
No, they throw the long ball.
Yeah, they do. All right, 6th and final division. We have 4 local teams from the district playing in 3 games. First one, number 10, Foothill, 4-6 this year at number 6, Granite Hills, who's 5-5. 2 teams that are separated just by 3 spots in the Cal Preps rankings. The lone common opponent was Miramonte. Both of them beat the Lions. Chris Weddle has done such a great job for the Trojans. I got them winning this one in a close one, 21-20. I'm back on the show.
Stan.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know.
You just changed that?
He says it right there, home
I'm
slice.
gonna. You know what? I've been Foothill's fuel all year, picking against them.
You're right. You are.
But I'm gonna go with Foothill. I think Coach Weddle's done a great job this year with that team.
Gregory.
I'm going to land with Foothill on this one too, but I also believe that the key to their success is going to be what they've done when they usually win, which is chew clock. And I think that's what they're going to have to do against Granite Hills.
I've got Foothill, but it's going to be a struggle. Very close game against Porterville. Granite Hills. All right, T.
Next game is 8-9 matchup, and it is the team that Foothill lost to last week. Number 9, Boron, is at number 8, Golden Valley. 2 common opponents for these two are the reasons the Bulldogs are hosting. Both of them lost to Arvin by a score, but the Bobcats lost 27-20 to Del Oro in September, and Golden Valley beat the Suns by 2 scores. Golden Valley 21-14 over Boron.
Coach Kane, and the Bulldogs.
Gregory.
Yeah, I like the Bulldogs as well. Antonio Casillas, quarterback, does a really good job running the ball, and he can break a few for them. Boron lost early in the season, although it was in overtime, to Arvin. They also lost to Del Oro the next week. So that's 2 teams from the Horizon League, and I just think Golden Valley's got too much for them.
Golden Valley's got speed.
I'm going Golden Valley because they're at home. I think it's a home game win. And our final game, T.
That would be a rematch from earlier this year, and the only game with 2 Kern High School District teams playing against each other, and that's number 12 Miramonte, 4-6 this year, at number 5 Kern Valley, who's 5-5, and really finished with a head of steam. The rematch from Week 5 when the Bronx bested Miramonte 20-17. That was Kern Valley's lone league win, non-league win, before they went 4-1 in league. The loss, in fact, was top rushing performance by Nathan Gonzalez for the Lions, who had 223 yards. He had another 200-yard-plus performance last week. If Miramonte wants revenge, Gonzalez will need to get another huge performance. But I've got Kern Valley winning this one at home with the drive up the canyon, 28-21.
28-21. Kern Valley. Stan.
Sorry, Christian.
earlier this year, did some research. Christian Johnson said, "Hey, pick us. We're going to beat Kern Valley." That's the first time your fault, second time my fault. I'm going with Kern Valley.
Oof,
Sorry.
rough. It's
Sorry,
a
Christian.
Rough studio in here, Greg.
Well, the first meeting, as Trevor mentioned, was 20 to
Hasn't called yet.
17. The score at halftime of that game was 20 to 17. Also, it was played at Miramonte. So both teams shut each other out in the second half of that first meeting. I don't think that's. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I think there will be scoring in both halves this time. I see it being a one-possession game. I think this is a coin flip because I think if they can get that run game going at Miramonte, Kern Valley is going to be in trouble. I was up there for a game against Lompoc. Lompoc run game did a pretty good job against them. And then of course, Kern Valley has, Garver throwing the ball, and Smoot does a great job as a wide receiver, one of many up there. So I think this one's really a wild card. I think it's going to be a lot like the first one, a field goal game.
Yeah.
I want to say Carver has been all of their scoring in like 3 or 4 of their last of these final wins in league. He's just doing it all, throwing the ball, running the ball for them.
I called that game, Kern High Network Game of the Week that night, and what I saw was a Miramonte team that should have won that ball game, and they went away from what got them to the end of that ball game, and they tried some things at the end that they probably shouldn't have tried, and I'm going for Miramonte in this one, even though it is at Kern Valley. I think CJ's thought that through, looked that through, and I think that I don't even think it's 12-5 upset. I think Miramonte's going to go up there and win this thing. In a tough place to play, I get it, but I'm going Miramonte. Okay, a couple of homework notes here for you, housekeeping, as they say. First and foremost, I do have a note here from the Director of School Support Services, and it reminds everybody to vote. He's voted. Greg and I will get to voting. We're pretty heavy schedule right now. Our Director, Alex, thank you. She's voted as well. If I am elected as the write-in vote, you've all got cabinet gigs. You've all got a gig in the cabinet. Make sure you vote before 8 o'clock tonight. We mentioned at top of the huddle, we're probably going to have these beginning of the week huddles on Tuesday afternoons. We found that it kind of fits with everybody's schedule. Mondays are always hectic, so we're looking at Tuesdays now as we go into the winter sports. On that note, kind of an inference there that we will be doing the huddle in the wintertime. It's not just a fall football deal. We'll have to do some pivoting, as Stan said. No game of the week this week. Friday night we have off as far as Kern High Network. I know Trevor's probably going to be on the beach somewhere. This guy never works Friday night, so that's not a new thing. So on that note, Greg, I want to thank you for coming in here all this regular season. We've got a lot going on. I know you go into an unbelievably even busier time now with our four-year university starting all their stuff in the wintertime. A lot going on. Trevor, for this regular season work, thank you, brother. Deep dives, a lot of work. Stan
Really
and I
enjoyed it.
Get your midnight text. We get your 5 a.m. text. We appreciate it. To wrap up our regular season huddles, big man, thank you for the opportunity to do this. A quick reminder, next Tuesday, 2 o'clock here, no game Friday night. For everybody that's out there watching, KernHighNetwork.com, get on our site, look at the archives, look at our games. We appreciate everybody being here. Last and final thoughts, I'm going to give you one opportunity to close out your deal. Of course, thank you, Trevor. No huddle on Friday. We're off Friday. Trevor, last comments, wrapping up regular season, going into playoffs. Keep it quick.
I think that what we thought we were going to get for the playoffs in football last week is completely different than what we have this week, and now it's more home games and more excitement for our local teams because we don't have BHS in the bottom of 1AA. We don't have, independents in D2 and different things like that, and we've got, 2 number 1 seeds in Shafter and BHS. A lot of fun.
Greg, you've wrapped up 1 million of these regular seasons and gone into playoff seasons. Your thoughts?
Actually, my thought is completely different, even though I agree we got more home games than I thought we were going to get. Thank you to the officials. That's all I want to say.
I love
Thank
that,
you
Greg.
to the officials
Love
out
it,
there
Greg. Love it.